Our today's class, we will see what is a file, why we use file, and how file works. Before starting the file, so far, we have been using IOStream standard library for input and output. In every program, we have only used this IOStream. So include IOStream. So what does this IOStream does? We know this is a header file, but what it does, it actually helps us with this. Whenever in a program we write C in, C out, that means you see in this program we have written C in, C out. So this is called console input, console output. So this C in and C out provides methods for reading from standard input and writing to the standard output. So that's, so far we have been only worked with the standard input and standard output. That's why we have used only IOStream. But there are, apart from this IOStream, we have some other header files as well. We have offstream, okay, we have ifstream, we have fstream. So in this one you can see one that is called fstream. So what does fstream does? This data type represents the file system generally. Okay, so it has the capability of both off stream and if stream. So if you can write like off stream, you can write if stream, or you can only use f stream. Okay, so what the off stream does, for example, if we start with off stream, what it does, okay, this data type represents the output file stream. So we can use this to create files and to write information to the file. So we can create a txt file or binary file using off stream, and we can store informations to the off stream. Then we have if stream. So as you can assume, this is the opposite. So using this if stream, we can read information from the file. And if we use if stream, that means we can do both. We can read from the files and we can also take input from the files. So this is the first thing you need to know about files, that apart from IOStream, you also need to include the if stream. So this is the number one difference. Okay, so let's just write here one. Number two, then we have to declare the files. Okay, so whenever you're opening a file, there is some syntax for opening the file, and there are some syntax for writing in the file and reading in the file. So just for your understanding, there how many operations can be in a file. So in general, we have actually divided the whole operation into 5. So let me write 5 operations of file. So operation 1, okay, we can open a file for reading. So operation 2 can be out. Okay, so it can be out, that we will open a file for writing. So in for reading, out for writing. So we will see soon that how this work, but for now let me just write down it. Then we have app, that means for appending. Now, those of you who don't know appending, it means that suppose you have a file where you have already written some data. So appending means you can read the data and add some more data. So like in a file, okay, you already have, like, assume that you have 5 students informations. So what you can do, you can read those informations, and also at the same time you can add some more. So that's what appending means. So this is one kind of operation. And after that we have tourniquet operation. In short, we write turn. So in this case, what we do, if the file already exists, okay, so what we do before opening the file, we actually tourniquet all the related data of the file. Okay, before opening. Then finally we have this 8 operation. Okay, so what we do, we open a file for output and move the read and write control to the end of the file. So this is 8. So these two are actually a little bit advanced. So for now we will not need any of these 3. So let's cut it down. We will just see how we can read from a file and we can write to a file. So these are the total 5 operations of file. Okay, so number 2, 5 basic operations of file. So this is our point number 2. Number 1 was header file. Now number 3. So we know how to declare a file. We know what are the basic operations fine. Then what we need, okay. So whenever we are reading from a file or closing a file or writing from a file, we need some form structure. Okay. So the structure, or we need some variables. So that's where it comes in. Offstream my file example.txt. So let's break it down. So what does offstream means? We have already talked about that. This is a file that where what you want to do, you want to write something. If it was if stream, that means we want to read something. But here we want to write something. That's why it's offstream. My file is a variable, just the way we declare character integer a or float a. This is like writing file a. So we have created a variable that can handle, this variable can handle integer, this variable can handle float, and this variable named offstream my file, it can handle files. So we have to declare the variables. Now depending on what you want to do, you can either use offstream or ifstream. So for now, let's use offstream my file or a. You can use any of this. Okay, so this one handles an integer, this one handles a float, and this one handles a file. So we have declared a variable, and then we have written a command, example.txt. What it does, it opens a file, or it creates a file named example.txt. So we have created a file named example.txt. You can use any name you want. You can write example2.txt, 3.txt, 5, or you can write abc.txt. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you define the format the file going to use. Now, after this done, so we have successfully completed or opened the file. The next thing is we want to write the file. Okay, so what we want to write in the file is totally up to yourself. So for in the example that I copied, we have this two line. This is a line, this is another line. Let's just write down, my name is Sakim. Okay, and then what, we open a file using myfile.isOpen, and we close a file using myfile.close. So let's break it down into three parts. So number 3, what we did, we first created a file. Just a minute. So as I was saying that we have, so first we declared the header file, then we declared the 5 basic operation. Number 3, we have to create the file, or we can say we can declare the file variable. Then we can in this one, after that we will open the file. So number 4, open the file. Okay, let me just pause it. So we can open the file, and after opening the file, then what we have, this is the open, then this is the closing the file. Okay, now if we want to write in the file, let me just comment this one down. Okay, so if we want to write the file, we just have to write my file. So this is almost like a console output. You see the syntax, this is a line, console output. So if you want to write 100 lines, you just have to put this my files 100 times. That's it. If you want to write 5 lines, you have to put 5 times. In this way, what we can ensure that depending on what we do, we can do it. So if you want to write 100 lines, you can write it here. Okay, for each line, you just have to write my file. Then you have to give the syntax, and you just have to write the line. Okay, and then you have to close the file. And if for some reason the file cannot be opened, it will print unable to open the file. So let's run the program. So if I run the program, you'll see the output. So initially it just doesn't show any output. That means our operation is done. So to understand that whether you could have written successfully or not, that means whether the right operation was successful, there are 2 things we can do. We can give a successful operation here, that after this whole if condition is executed, we will see that, okay, done, right operation done. So we can do that, or we can go back and check the file. So how we can check it? So from here, what you can do, you can write open containing folder. So let me share the screen. So I think you can see the screen. So let me go back to the code blocks first here. So from here, what I will do, I will first, just a minute, to make sure that whether the program is opened. Okay, the file is, we can do this, we can use write operation. So if I run the program, you see it's printing the write operation done. That means the data is there. And to check what we can do, we can actually open the containing folder, and you see file.cpp and example.txt. And you see in the file, it's already printed. This is line, my name is Sakib. So if I close this, okay, let me delete this one and we will do it again. So again, we deleted the file, we close this one and we go back. So if I again, my name is Sakibul Islam, okay. Now let's try to run the program. So it's printing, the write operation is done. That means it's done. So let's close this one. And now let's check the file again. You see it's printing, my name is Sakibul Islam. So very simple operation, right? You just, if you just give it a name, in this case, my file as a variable name, and data will be stored in the example.txt. Then you just write whatever you want. Okay. Then you can use a console output like this, or you can just ignore this one. It's up to you. So for example, whenever you actually store some data, you will see Microsoft Word gives you the small notification that data is stored successfully. So this is actually doing the same task. Okay, so that's it. Now let's go to the second program. I hope the first one is clear for everyone. 3-step: declare the header file. 5 basic operation: decide whether you want to write, whether you want to read, whether you want to append, tourniquet. Okay, then you declare the file, assign it to a name, assign it to a variable name, open the file, write whatever you want, and then close it. Done. Now let's go for the second program. Now what we will try to do, we will try to read from the program. We will write something and then we will try to read whatever you have written. Now if you look closely, okay, let me first explain how the program works. So first of all, again, we have this f stream, okay, and we also included string. So you will see soon why we include a string. So we have declared a variable string.line, and in this one we have is if stream. Why if stream? Because in this program we only want to read the file. We don't want to write anything. So again, we just assign it to a name. We example.txt. This is where we will read. After that, we open the file. Then we call a function that is called getLine. So what this function actually does, from the program, sorry, from the file that you have written, it loads one line at a time and prints the line. And then after all the line is printed, it uses close. So let's run the program and then I will explain some more. So you see, it have printed, this is a line, my name is Sakibul. So let's go back to our file and here. So let's keep them side by side and explain. So what happens? First, the program declares a string, then if stream that I want to read the file and then give it a name. It can be, you can read any file, okay? You can read, for now we are using example.txt because in the last one we used example.txt as well. We use this program to read, write. Now we will use this program to read the same file. Now first we open the file, then using this get line, this is new, rest of it we have already done it. So this line, what it does, it goes to open our, goes to our file, takes one line at a time. So like this is our first line, so it will take the first line. Okay, so from the file, my file, it will copy the first line to this. After copying the first line, it will print the first line in this variable. So this line is actually a variable that copies one line at a time, and then it will print it and go for the next line. And this program, this while loop that here we have, it will continue until we reach the end of the file. So this is called EOF, or end of file. So this while loop will continue to rotate until we reach end of the file. So where is the end of the file here? We don't see anything. The compiler or the file automatically assigns the end of the file. So you don't have to worry about that. For now, what you have to know that when you have a program, or sorry, when you have a file you want to read, you will open the file using if stream. Then if you will declare a string variable, you'll use the getLine function, and you will pass the name of the file, like my file from here, this is, and line the string. So if you declare, for example, in this string, if you declare a, so here it will be a, here it will be a. If you declare my file equals to, let's assume s, it will be s, it will be s, so every year it will be s. Okay, so sometimes for simplicity, so easy to remember, what we use file dot close, we use file here instead of using s or a. It's easy to remember. Or we use my file the way we have done just now. So it's up to you. Again, the convention doesn't matter. The program will always work. Okay. Now, what if there's nothing in the file? Let's go back and delete everything that we have in the, just a minute. So let's delete the file. Let's see what happens. So let's assume there is no file. In that case, what the program will do? Let's try to run the program. You see, it's printing unable to open file because the file doesn't exist. So in this way, you can actually make sure whether there's any problem in the program, or this is called exception handling. You will learn more about in Java course. The basic idea is whenever sometimes whenever you're doing a huge program, we use this type of commands to make sure that what's the wrong here. So this is the basic. Okay, let me close the recording.